Bulk waste disposal. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Not exactly the most glamorous topic for our deep dive today, but honestly, going through this research, it's surprisingly interesting.
Yeah, we often overlook those hidden kind of complexities of the things we encounter every day.
Yeah, for sure. And today's no different. We're diving deep into GreenFlow. They specialize in bulk waste disposal. What are your first impressions?
Well, one thing's clear.
Yeah.
They're not just your average garbage collectors. They really emphasize a comprehensive approach in their materials. Efficiency, regulations, environmental responsibility, it's all there.
Yeah, I was struck by that too. They're presenting themselves as experts in this niche field.
Definitely. It's easy to think of bulk waste as just like household trash,
Right.
right? But it goes way beyond that. Construction debris, industrial byproducts, even outdated medical equipment. And each has its own regulations and requirements for disposal.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of which, one of the things that stood out to me was the sheer scale of what GreenFlow handles. They manage waste logistics for huge businesses, construction firms, manufacturing plants. It's a whole other level.
Exactly. And that's where those regulations become even more critical. Mishandling certain types of waste, even accidentally, can have huge consequences for businesses, legally, environmentally. And it seems like GreenFlow is offering that peace of mind. They take care of it by the book responsibly.
They've got their whole process laid out step by step. They even call it a multi-step approach. Assessment, removal, transportation, then disposal or recycling, and finally a full reporting trail.
And that's key here. It's not just about checking boxes, right? It's about tailoring the process, making sure each client's needs are met while staying compliant with all the legal stuff.
And they really seem to emphasize customization, like tailored solutions. They use that phrase a lot.
It makes sense, though. Every business is going to have its own unique waste stream depending on the industry size, all of that. A one-size-fits-all approach wouldn't work, especially with all the regulations.
Exactly. Speaking of regulations, let's get to the environmental side of things. GreenFlu talks a lot about their commitment to sustainability, and honestly, I was a bit surprised.
Surprised in a good way, I hope.
Yeah. I mean, you don't usually associate waste disposal with, being environmentally friendly, but they talk about zero emission processes, minimizing waste. They even have this one tree planted partnership. Basically, they plant a tree for every project they do.
Right, the one tree planted. It's a good example of how businesses are trying to be more sustainable these days. Planting trees, it's a positive thing on its own, but it also helps offset their carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And it definitely appeals to consumers who care about the environment.
It's smart marketing, too. Makes you see the company differently.
For sure. But we do have to look deeper. GreenFlow also mentions cutting-edge technology and environmentally responsible methods, but what does that actually mean in practice? How are they measuring their impact? Those are things to consider.
So it's not just about the tree planting, it's about the whole picture.
Yeah. Transparency is key. Do they share their environmental policies publicly? Are they certified by any organizations? These are all things to think about when we evaluate these claims.
Like you always say, healthy skepticism is important.
Exactly. It's great that companies like GreenFlow are embracing sustainability, but we as consumers have to be critical and look at the details.
Okay, switching gears a bit, their FAQ section was really interesting. They addressed some practical stuff, like how they handle hazardous waste, not something you think about every day, but super important for a lot of businesses.
And they're specific too. Secure containment, certified containers, transport to licensed facilities. They clearly get how sensitive and potentially dangerous this stuff is.
Like, they specifically mentioned that for flammable liquids, they use these specialized containers and trucks with safety features to prevent spills and accidents and all that.
That's good to hear. That level of detail, that commitment to safety, it's reassuring. They're saying, we know the risks and we're taking the right steps to handle them. That's a strong message for potential clients.
It's like they've got all the bases covered. They even talk about what happens to the waste at the treatment facilities, proper disposal, energy recovery, all that.
Right. It's not just about getting rid of it. It's about doing it responsibly, sustainably, closing the loop, as they say.
Yeah, which, brings us to their history. I was really impressed that they've been around since 1992. They've clearly adapted to all the changes in regulations and just the way people think about waste management.
That's a pretty long track record in this industry. It tells you they've been through the challenges, adapted their practices to stay ahead of the curve.
And they're not shy about their values. Personalized service, efficient solutions, environmental responsibility, it's all over their website.
And it seems to be more than just words. Their track record suggests those values are a real part of their culture. Not just buzzwords, but the foundation of how they operate.
It's like they're redefining what a waste disposal company can be. They're positioning themselves as partners, helping clients navigate this whole complex world.
Definitely. It's not just about hauling trash anymore. It's about expertise, peace of mind. And in a world where sustainability is so important, that's valuable.
So to wrap up, it seems like GreenFlow brings a lot to the table. A transparent process, a real commitment to sustainability, and a long history of responsible waste management.
Absolutely. It's a compelling picture of a company that wants to do business the right way for their clients and for the planet.
This deep dive really opened my eyes to this whole industry. I have to admit, I didn't know much about it going in. It makes you wonder, with populations growing, more and more consumption, what does the future hold for waste management?
That's the big question, isn't it? As we generate more waste, companies like GreenFlow will be more and more essential, finding innovative and sustainable solutions. It's a changing field with a lot of possibilities.
From bulk waste disposal to cutting-edge sustainability, who knew there was so much to learn?
It reminds you that there's always more than meets the eye, even in the most unexpected places.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into GreenFlow and the future of waste management. Until next time, keep asking questions and never stop exploring.